I told myself I was just tired. I told myself I just needed more coffee. I told myself it was stress.
Diagnosis, denial. Again.
Turns out, I wasn't wrong. I was just early. If you've ever gaslit yourself about your symptoms, yeah, this one's gonna hurt a little. But also, we're gonna laugh about it. The lies I told myself about MS and why they backfired. Have you ever looked yourself in the mirror and told a bald-faced lie? For a long time, I told myself I was just tired, stressed from work, and that I could push through it. But the biggest lie? I kept telling myself I was fine. It was a comfortable story that let me avoid going to the doctor. But the lies we tell ourselves have a shelf life. Little lies can give you a sense of control, but then they start to backfire. Spectacularly. My lies didn't just fail to protect me. They actively made things worse. So I'm going to walk you through the 6 biggest lies I told myself about my multiple sclerosis. If you're telling yourself some of these same lies, maybe this will help you feel a little less alone. Quick update, MS Warriors. I'm moving to Monday, Wednesday, Friday for full video releases, plus shorts releasing on Tuesday and Thursday. More focused, more helpful, no doom. Just truth. Now back to our regularly scheduled program. The first and easiest lie was a classic. I'm just tired. My naps became less like refreshing breaks and more like short-term comas. But here's the thing. MS fatigue is not the same as being tired. Normal tired is like a low phone battery that recharges with rest. MS fatigue is a faulty battery that only charges to 40%, no matter what. It's a bone-deep exhaustion, like walking through wet cement. The funny part is how I tried to solve it. I became a connoisseur of energy drinks and drank so much coffee my hands vibrated. My imaginary friend Nuri even popped up as a drill sergeant.
Fatigue is just a state of mind. Have you tried willing yourself to have more energy?
But this wasn't a mind over matter problem. This was a central nervous system over mattered problem. After I'm tired started to feel thin, I moved on to its close cousin. It's just stress. This lie is brilliant because it's so plausible. Everything is stressful. Can't feel your foot for 3 days? Stress. The tingling in my hands? Stress. The sudden brain fog? Definitely stress. Believing it was just stress was so much less scary than considering the alternative. It was a convenient excuse that kept the deeper, more frightening questions at bay. Stress can make MS symptoms worse, like pouring gasoline on a fire. But stress wasn't creating the fire, the underlying condition was. By blaming stress, I was putting off the tests that could lead to actual answers. My mental sidekick, Nuri, appeared as a therapist and asked,
Is this tingling unresolved feelings about your mother?
It was absurd, but it made me realize I had to see them as 2 separate things. My personal mantra for most of my life was simple: push through. I come from a mindset that values hard work and grit, so I tried to fight through any obstacle with sheer force of will. But that philosophy completely backfired. I'd have one productive, high-energy day, ignore all the warning signs, and then pay for it for the next 3, completely wiped out. It was a cycle of boom and bust. The key I learned was pacing, not pushing through. Pacing isn't quitting. It's a smart, strategic way to manage energy for the long haul. My brain buddy Nuri started showing up with a bright sign: consequences loading. He'd point at it whenever I ignored my body and pushed through. And he wasn't wrong. Every time I overdid it, the consequences loaded, then hit me. I had to learn to respect the loading screen. If a strange new symptom appeared, I'd just ignore it. This lie is seductive because sometimes it seems to work. With MS, symptoms can come and go. It's called a relapsing remitting pattern. I'd have a few bad weeks, and then just as suddenly, it would get better. In those moments, the lie felt like the truth.
Abracadabra, it's gone!
Then he'd flip a card that said, "Still here." He was right. Hoping a symptom disappears isn't a treatment plan. It's a gamble. This lie was born out of pure vanity. I was worried what people would think. I wanted to be seen as normal, capable, strong. The idea of someone seeing me stumble was mortifying, so I became an expert at pretending. I'd grip my coffee cup with a death grip, praying it wouldn't slip. But the truth is, people notice. The people close to you can tell when something is off. They don't judge you, they worry about you. And now we come to the boss battle of lies. The single most damaging phrase in my vocabulary. I'm fine. I said it to everyone, even to myself in the mirror. It was my shield, a polite way of saying, please don't ask because I'm afraid of the answers. It keeps help and connection at arm's length. So I started telling the truth. I have MS, and today is a tough day. Nuri would wink and spell out what fine really meant. Functioning in neurological exhaustion. Naming it didn't fix it, but it opened the door to actual support. Exhausted from cycling through all the lies, I knew I needed a different way. Tiny, practical changes I could actually stick to. I'll share what helped, because if it saves you a week of burnout, it's worth it. First, I respected my new limits. No shame. Simple tools helped like a cane when I wobbled, a jar opener for weak grip, and voice-to-text when typing tanked. I got organized with a daily planner, short to-do lists, and breaks scheduled like meetings. Non-negotiable. That's pacing. Not lazy, it's strategic. It turned push-through days into steady progress. I decided to put my favorite items in my shop. You can find the link to my shop down in the video description. The big truth and a question for you. The biggest lies I told myself weren't about protecting me from others. They were about protecting me from a new, scary reality. MS changed my body, but the bigger change was that it forced me to change how I speak to myself. The little lies, I'm just tired, it's just stress, I'm fine, they were a shield, a coping mechanism that bought me time when the path ahead felt terrifying. But in the end, the truth is what set me free, not in a movie magic way, but a slow, messy improvement, starting with being honest with myself. We all tell ourselves little lies to feel safe. But when a chronic illness enters the picture, those little lies can become a big problem. They can steal precious time that you could be using to adapt. For me, being honest was the key that unlocked everything else. The truth didn't fix my MS, but it fixed my approach to living with it. The big reveal is this. Being honest isn't just brave, it's practical. So, I'll end by asking, which lie do you tell yourself the most? I'm fine? It's just stress? Drop one in the comments. I promise you're not the only one. If this story made you feel less alone, share it with a friend. And for more honest stories, please like and subscribe. We're all figuring this out together.